I decided to use this authority, usually preserved for civil unrest.
In November 2015 was the year Seattle declared a state of emergency on homelessness. The same year, Professor Sarah Rankin of Seattle University School of Law began a homeless rights advocacy project to study the issue, what's working and what's not.
Has the region made progress on this issue over the past 3 years? On balance, no. I don't think that the city has made substantial progress. I think the fundamental problem that the city has is the lack of a coherent strategy and the inability so far to really communicate what it is that they're doing to their constituents.
Despite double-digit increases in homelessness spending over the years, Professor Rankin doesn't believe Seattle city leaders have the right formula.
If the city were run like a business, they would say, what works? And shouldn't we bring that to scale?
Rankin faults the city's current budget for spending too much money on emergency services, including temporary shelters and authorized encampments. That's the biggest piece of the Human Services Department pie, which overall received more than $70 million in the 2018 budget.
What the city should be concentrating on with the money that it has is what's proven to work. Using shelters is one of the least effective ways of addressing the underlying problems of homelessness. This is disappointing because what this should be is prioritizing affordable housing as the biggest piece of the pie chart and bringing housing first to scale as part of the biggest piece of the spending pie.
1811 Eastlake is an example of the housing first model, considered low barrier since it offers housing without preconditions. But Rankin points to research that shows positive outcomes for both residents and taxpayers. One study found it saved more than $4 million in costs in its first year of operation.
Once people have that basic stability of a place to sleep and some food to eat, that they are much better equipped to start dealing with those secondary problems in their lives, like addiction, like a lack of a job, and other issues that we typically expect them to fix in order to deserve housing.
And that housing first model encompasses more permanent, stable housing, not necessarily that emergency shelter. Rankin argues that this model has been shown to be effective in both red and blue states. And while it's one piece of the equation here in Seattle, she believes it needs to be a much bigger focus. Now, I called the city of Seattle and could not get an exact dollar figure for the amount of money that Seattle currently spends on the housing first model, but I'm told it is considered a priority. We will update you when we learn more about what's currently being spent on it.